LED Lighting St. Lucia Incorporated, located on the ground floor of the Shoreline Building, Vidbutai Castries. Visit our showroom or call us at 452-9022 or 452-9021 for all your LED decorative and outdoor lighting solutions. Check out our webpage, www.caribbeanledlighting.com.
Vaval Central is on now. Vaval Central and the Caribbean Sound is sponsored by the Carnival Planning and Management Committee, the Carnival Music Management Committee, Creamery Novelties, Live a Little, Harris Paints, the Champions of Color, the Computer Store, Quartz, bringing value home, and Grace Tropical Rhythms Juices.
Quarterfinal! The quarterfinal stage of the Calypso competition is on! Beginning with KPT on Wednesday, June 11th. On Friday, June 13th, Fire One will take the stage. Followed by South Calypso Tent on Saturday, June 14th. Wolf TOT Soccer Village on Wednesday, June 18th. Boy, things are heating up. Kaiso for soul. 8 p.m. at the NCC. Admission $25. Hey! This event is licensed by Echo.
Are you a small business owner looking for dependable IT support? Then look no further. TCS has the solutions to all your IT needs. Our experienced and qualified team of IT professionals has all your IT solutions. We provide wired and wireless networking, point-of-sale solutions, network security, data backup and recovery solutions, desktops and laptops, computer hardware and software, computer accessories, inks, toners, and much more. Don't let IT solutions cripple your operations or your ability to serve your clients. Call us today at 450-4638 or visit us on the ground floor of the American Drywall Building at Vidbutai. The Computer Store, meeting your demands in the IT world.
Before the feathers, before the fets, there was a story. The story of Lucian Carnival. Join us for l'Histoire Carnaval, a powerful lecture and panel discussion on the history and evolution of Lucian Carnival, featuring a keynote address by Dr. Anthea Octave, PhD, a leading voice on culture and identity in the Caribbean, and other influential voices. Join us on Tuesday, June 17th from 7:30 p.m. at the Finance Administrative Center Conference Room. Admission is free and open to all ages. Dress code business casual. L'Histoire Carnaval, where Carnival's past meets its future.
Who's a little man with a lot to offer? He is the Harris Paints man, who sells the best for less in so many colors. He is the Harris Paints man, for a better paint and a better price. Check the little man for some self-advice. If you're painting inside, outside, you'll be satisfied when you use Harris Paints. If you're painting inside, outside, you'll be satisfied when you use Harris Paints.
St. Lucia, it's the Battle of the Titans. Newcomers and veterans clash on one stage in the National Calypso Semifinals. Sunday, June 29th from 4 p.m. at the National Cultural Center. They're bringing the fire, the lyrics, and the punchlines, all for a chance to compete in the National Calypso Monarch Finals. Advance tickets are just $40. Pay more at the door. Feel the vibes. Embody the spirit. Lucian Carnival. Nothing sweeter than that.
Tropical Rhythms, join the rhythm. Distributed in St. Lucia by Acado Limited.
Oh, I've got this feeling to high-five the sun, dance in the rain, and have my scoop of fun. I'm on my way to flavor my day with something new, and I've got room for you. Let loose and live a little, get close and share a little. Taste a little, you'll fall in love with creamery novelties. Love life and live a little. I get close and share a little. Give in and taste a little, you'll fall in love with creamery novelties.
Enjoy
Enjoy Creamy Novelties Ice Cream, distributed by Ferrens Foods. Live a little.
Experience Carnival with Quartz Ready Cash. Enter to win $10,000 cash when you take a loan for $3,000 or more. Get the cash to purchase event tickets and costumes. All you need to apply is your ID, payslip, recent job letter, proof of address, and 2 references. No security required. Flexible payment terms, quick approval, and hassle-free. Visit us in-store or apply online at www.quartz.com. Quartz Ready Cash. Ready when you are. Promotion ends June 30th, 2025. Normal criteria and special conditions apply.
The ultimate tent in one juggling in collaboration with the Carnival Music Management Committee present Big Bad Soccer, Paint and Powder, Mad Thing, Sunday, June 29th, Sufra Stadium, Lucian Soccer at its best. Sulphur City, rock coming to you. Team Tension, Monster, Orion, Fire, Azraeli Fun Machine, Nerdy and Mika, Browns and Mata, Ricky T, Shiggy, Arthur, Kuya, Hollywood HP, Grapple, Bounty Hype, Prada, Shannon King, all back to fight. The Impulse Band, admission $25 at the gate. Soccer, the ultimate tent, Big Bad Soccer, Paint and Powder. I come out here to get miserable. Sunday, June 29th, 2 p.m. at the Super Stadium, sponsored by Quartz, Petrax, Lucozade, Campari, KFC, Hot FM, Pleasant FM, MBC, Peter, Ezon, Island Sound, Sage Computers Incorporated, UTV, and Radio Caribbean International. This event is licensed by Echo.
Good morning, Vaval Central.
And we're back, Teddy. Good morning.
Iowa, you hear me clearly?
Yeah.
Good morning, Iowa. After a packed weekend, let me good even.
Let me see. Yeah, try that one still. Yeah, sing it. Yeah.
Better for you?
Yeah, that one.
Better?
Yeah, that one good.
Yeah. We're going with Iowa. This morning was hearing me clearly now.
Yes.
Right.
Indeed.
Yeah, Iowa. We're going a double mic boy, huh?
Yes. Yeah.
So we on, right?
Yeah. Bring that one back. Let me just, yes, right.
So Vaval Central on this morning, I will be going with our first tune, our first song this morning on Vaval Central. We are, in fact, with the action on the weekend, the double quarterfinals. We had the quarterfinal for the South Calypso tent, always getting good support, not lacking support. South having good crowds throughout and, in fact, acquitting themselves well on stage. As is our custom, as we've announced, we'll be doing our proper and detailed review of the individual performances after the quarterfinals, that's after TOT Soca Village on Wednesday night. So we'll be doing our full review of the individual performances after that, trying not to muddle it with the judging process, and so we'll be doing it afterwards, our observation, review, assessment of the different performances after that. The tent, as you see, South Calypso tent, and before that, Fire One, of course, having very good turnout. So the very healthy support for the Calypso through the weekend. And so with that, we also had the Grocery Carnival launch, very good and strong community vibe over in the Friday Night Street Party, showing the constant improvement by the Grocery Carnival fraternity, and the vibe I just thought was really very electric there over in the Friday night. They used the captive audience and it worked well in promotion of the community carnival. Just what a community carnival vibe is supposed to be, at the heart of the community, showing the world what they have to offer. And 6 bands well backed up by the artists Nerdy, Ezra, Monster, Keisha and company. That was Grocery. And the other communities working towards the big launch. Soufriere having had theirs already, as is the case with Denry. We're looking forward to the likes of Labrie, Ancillary, Canneries, and Mabuya Valley and the rest as they build up to the grand carnival festivity. And so we are also speaking of the quarterfinals. We reminding you that the last quarterfinal, the final one, is on Wednesday night. TOT Soca Village going before the judges. The results, according to the CPMC, will be announced on Friday morning, as the Thursday is a holiday. They always like to time the results with prime media time, part of the hyping of the season and having the suspense and anticipation having the focal point interest for announcement of results. The dipping for the soca semis, that will happen. That happens this morning over at the Cultural Development Foundation. The dipping ceremony for the artists involved in the soca semi-finals at Groovy and Power. That too we had this morning, a little more on that from the CPMC in just a bit. And also we're making sure that we have confirmed the launch of the big fashion show at the Heart of Carnival, Export the Runway, where designers, carnival related and otherwise, are showcase a major window created by the Export St. Lucia. Good morning to Sunita and Glenfield over and the team over at Export St. Lucia. They're launching this morning. Good morning, Sunita. Good morning, Glenfield. They've been doing some very good work, very strong work in promoting, having a nexus to the carnival and driving it towards the export market. And they launched last year their most exportable song for the carnival and building on that this year with some new features. We also want to mention the lecture, the first ever official carnival lecture by the Carnival Committee. That's happening tomorrow night. That at the Financial Center starting at 7:30, and lots of interest in that. It's a free lecture, and persons expected to attend in good numbers. The lecturer is Anthea Antoine, who is from Dr. Anthea Antoine from the Edna Manley College in Jamaica. She worked previously in research and lectured over at St. Augustine campus at UWI, and she will be doing her lecture, as we said, getting your section. Interesting topic, Iowa. We'll hear a little more from her on that in a while. She's joining us in a while as our guest this morning. Anthea Octave is in fact our guest this morning. Dr. Anthea, right, Iowa? Not far from you, Elastic Hill, she from the Cedars Cradle, you know, original Cedars, the Octave family. You know them well?
Yeah, I know very well.
She's of that, one of the branches of that tree, and she's back to serve her country. Outstanding work at UWI and Edmund Manning College. Like to have our outstanding St. Lucians doing well in the academic world and other fields coming back home to share their knowledge and experience. Interesting perspective from her at that big lecture tomorrow night. All the Carnival fraternity excited about it and attending, and so we're looking forward to that. We mentioned the dipping, reminding the artists that they on this morning, they would have been notified by the personal email and through their respective tents. So we're going with lots of action on Vaval Central, lots of ideas to share. But first, we're starting with the music, and one of the songs we're featuring as we build up to TOT and look back on South and Fire One. TOT scheduled for the last quarterfinal on Wednesday night. One of the youngsters showing great promise from last year in the 10th. Who's the Iowa?
Ashe on Vaval Central.
Oi, 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 oi. Good night, everyone. Hope you're having a good one. Oi, ay, 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 ay. You know the devil, sly like a fox, you know. Don't let him get in your box. I met the devil one night in disguise. No fire, no pitchfork, just charm in his eyes. He strolled for a feed, sipping his black tea. Said I don't burn, I don't watch. But listen, he whispered your kids don't need hell to fall. Just give them a screen, I'll handle it all. The devil don't need no hearts to fool. No flames to burn, no demons to rule. He's slick in a suit, or viral on screen. He's hiding in comfort, clean and unseen. Hey, the devil don't need no hearts to fool. Listen, he's the one who says bullying is cool. He sells you dreams but takes your voice. He won't force you, he gives you the choice. So open your eyes, this ain't no beef. Listen, the devil's real smooth and he's good with teeth. Hey, Zapa Jabla is it? Me won't take the call. Why, ay, 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 ay. He's a blow with it. Listen. Just all right now. He showed me a school with no books, no voice. Where tests replaced dreams and fear was a choice. He laughed as a youth, danced pain away. Said they perform for me every day. You think I need chains to keep them bound? When validation cheaper and always around. The devil only know how to fool you. No flames to burn, no he wants to rule. He's slick in a suit or viral on screen. Let me tell you, he's hiding in comfort, clean and unseen.
Good morning, Vaval Central.
No wants to fool you. He's the one who says bullying is cool. He says your dreams but takes your voice. He won't force you, he gives you the choice. He's polished in prose, disguised in streams. He rewrites the truth and sells it in memes.
Ashe on Vaval Central. Teddy?
Yes, Ashe, one of the youngsters coming out into the Calypso fold from last year. Persons messaging, yes, the interest in Desrel did perform his second song over at the Calypso tent, Fire One Calypso tent on the weekend. We'll be playing this in just a bit at prime time hour. We're dropping at prime time. I know the interest is great in what the defending monarch has released as the second song. The first one we know of, the first song, The Immigrant, and now the second song we will, what's the name of it? The second song? Goat. Yeah, Goat. The real Goat is interesting twist on it. We'll be hearing that in just a bit. But first we're saying good morning to the guest lecturer for our first ever Carnival lecture tomorrow night. Anthea Octave. Good morning, Dr. Anthea Octave. Welcome to St. Lucia and welcome to Vaval Central.
Good morning, Teddy, and good morning, Vaval Central.
Good morning to you.
And that's a space you imagine, right? When you watch every morning on your phone from Jamaica. I know you've been following.
I have been. You've
become an avid fan of Vaval Central, of course, making all the sense, preparing to get the context and so before she comes for her lecture. We'll be speaking to Dr. Anthea Octave in a lot more in just a bit on her take, her research, her perspective as she prepares for the big lecture tomorrow night at the Financial Center from 7:30. Going to her in just a bit, but before that, some more of the music, which is just so very important. A point you're making, and it came up in discussion on the weekend. We've been speaking on the bands, the carnival, the evolution, and the point that the carnival keeps evolving. And we alluded to it last week, the evolution, the growth of bands, not always a bad thing. You know, some persons cringe at when the band splits up on different bands, but we traced it, we started tracing it last week, and you remember we started an example, for example, Royal Lights Carnival Band was a popular band then. You play Mass yet already? I started playing Mass yet? Royal Lights days?
No.
Not yet. When you, I'm about to ask you when you started, but we will go there. Well, I can't picture you in a costume on the road getting on bad, you know. Yeah. Difficult to imagine, but stranger things happen at Carnival, right? And so I wear a costume, boy. And so we started with Royal Lights, the family, and out of that came bands like Excess Energy, New Dimensions, Originals. They came these bands. Out of Excess Energy, so bands like the Just for Fun, Ruston Taylor, and so leaving out J.J. John Joseph being the original leader along with its team. And so Ruston Taylor would have left and joined people like Paula James to form Just for Fun, and Perry Mason and so. And also out of the Originals and New Dimensions, you saw the formation with some old Secret Carnival Band members to form Mass Action. And so it continues to grow. Then you had Red Unlimited, Red International. They have morphed a few times. And so out of their band came a split initially, allowing the youngsters to run the band. They got the point go, as you say, the youngsters, Crystal, Jean-Baptiste and so on, eventually went on to form their own band, Fusion. And so it continues. Not always an unhealthy thing when you have the splitting of bands and so on. It all leads to the growth. And creative people sometimes have different perspectives, different growth patterns, different paths. And so they move on. And so it's not always something to cringe about when the creatives go their separate ways. They're not vexed personally, but in fact they see that they want to go a different path. And all good for the carnival. I know Nancy Octave is here, one that will come up in just a bit. What would have happened to our carnival had we not changed the date? The purists would have their own view, but fierce debate then before 1999 about the changing of the date and all that. Would we have grown that much had we stayed in the pre-Lenten period? And some say, would the carnival have had more foundation, more meaning had we remained there? So the debate continues. We'll hear Nancy Octave's take in just a while. And so in the end, one thing conceded by the chairperson. We got good response to her interview. We got some good response here for her content. Tamara Gibson was here last week, remember Iowa? And one thing that she conceded was she did not rest and sleep easily with the present frame and state and texture of the Juve celebrations. I mean, the real epitome of spontaneity and self-expression is Juve. It's almost individual, where you come out from your pot sham to your pajamas to, drink your coffee and express. Now there's only paid registration. You must be a member of a band. Almost a contradiction in terms of paid Juve. You see, oxymoronic in a sense. So that she considered that she as a lover of mass, the one in charge of the mass, wants to see some more spontaneous elements to it as we go. So much to discuss in the carnival, and see Octave in a bit. But you're a Juve player, Ansia? You like your Juve and you play?
Juve has a different energy to putting on a costume in a structured mass.
Right.
Yeah, Juve is the rising of the sun, is the opening, is the beginning, it's the start of all kinds of possibilities. I like Juve.
Yeah. You like how the spontaneous Juve?
Spontaneous Juve, not the costume T-shirt.
Right.
Yeah, but you hit the road, you feel it in your spirit, and you go.
Yeah, no. Some almost eyes closed. They really delirious. They're just playing their mass. Juve morning. The sun rising is really part of it, as you say, when it comes through. But we're getting to Nancy Octave. Just spread the word, share the live. The team to share the live and share the word with the Vaval Central. We're going to our next song, Iowa. Lucian, and then we're going to Desrel and his release on the weekend. Good morning to Papa Vida, to the tie-up, growing boy, tie-up. Floyd out. What you call him, Iowa? Floyd. Morning, Floyd, the invader, Papa Vida. He'll be there too to speak of the lecture. As we're saying, Nancy Octave presenting tomorrow night over at the Financial Center. Among the panel before, there will be Ember Charles, well-known researcher, head of the Folk Research Center, a pure maths man, a lot to say. A good choice there, very solid in his perspective on Carnival. Dr. Damian Greaves, your old friend, I was short pants, Calypsonian researcher, sociologist, good perspective to on the Carnival, and Fiona Compton, the younger generation, all the firebrand, a different perspective, some interesting, sometimes radical views on Carnival and what it should be, what it represents. World panel, that's the panel, and of course, standout, making contributions towards the discussion, having been selected by the CPMC. We have Giovanni Sintoma, veteran, iconic mass maker, Giovanni Sintoma. We have Father Anthony, who would have, of course, the church perspective and how they have been, what they have done, what they have not done to the Carnival. Not always good, but he'll be honest in his reflections. And also there's Papa Veda himself speaking on Calypso and the evolution towards the mass. There is a cameo from Invader and Isai Hall, the maestro, a little extempo as it starts. There's some pan in there, lots of attractions in the night, a nice full night. Panel discussion, pointed and in fact very incisive when the panel is there, and also the lecture from Dr. Antoine. We're going to our next song.
Lucian on Vaval Central.
Saint Lucia in trouble. We love the land, not the people. Saint Lucia in trouble. We love the land, not the people. It was a nice independence, a parade of excellence. So many people came together for sure were well satisfied. But then I looked at it closer, and something didn't feel proper. I detest the love for country that we does show. We have no conscience. We live under false pretense. There's no category for the kind of love that we know. Oh, how we love the Saint Lucia. Let me count the ways. We love to thief, we love to kill for 364 days. But when 365 reach, it's nice independent speech. White, black, gold and blue. It's a shame the way we love you. Wheresoever you may roam, learn to love your island home. Sing! St. Lucia in trouble. We love the land, not the people. Whoa, yo, 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 yo. St. Lucia in trouble. We love the land, not the people. When we say love for the country, can someone explain to me? Is it the people that we love, or is it the land? Yes, the hills and the valleys, the sulfur springs and the beaches, the pride in our motherland, I can understand. But on a day-to-day basis, we social fabric in crisis. There is less and less respect for our fellow man. We always angry, and kindness is hard to see. But we quick to proclaim that we're proud to be St. Lucian. Oh, how we love this St. Lucia. Let me count the ways. We segregate, discriminate for 364 days. But when 365 reach, unity we start to preach. White, black, gold and blue. It's a shame the way we love you. Wheresoever you may roam, learn to love your island home. St. Lucia in trouble. We love the land, not the people. Oh, hey, St. Lucia in trouble. We love the land, not the people. The way we treat the disabled, those who weak and vulnerable.
Lucian and Vaval Central Teddy, let me say happy birthday to a Vaval Central zombie. They call her name is Andrea Leo. Happy birthday, Andrea. Also, good morning to Karen.
And we neglect our
yeah.
Thanks, Iowa, Lucian, for contribution. And they mash up my phone. I have people asking for the tune from Desrel, the
All
new
right.
tune. Before we go to Dr. Ansia Octave in the guest lecturer at tomorrow night's lecture, we're going to hear Desrel. He had his first contribution. He's the defending monarch with his first song, The Immigrant. Here's his second offering. Almost confirmed that these two will be his competition tunes. That becomes the second tune which he'll be defending his crown. The name, Iowa?
Kaiso Goat on Vaval Central.
Who is the goat? The Kaiso goat. Who is the top-ranking Calypso champion here in this land? Who is the goat? The Kaiso goat. Who is the monarch of all the monarchs? Say if you can. Good night. We didn't play no steel band, when Michael Jordan came to this land. But we heard the quote, he is the famous basketball GOAT. In case you're confused and you're confounded, why we call him GOAT, I'll expound it. GOAT means the greatest of all time. So it made me wonder about Calypso in St. Lucia. Who do we promote as the Lucian Calypso GOAT? So I decided to make a plan to question Calypsonians. But the two I met, their bad reactions made me regret. Who is the GOAT? I asked them. The guy so good. Who is the top ranking Calypso champion here in this land? Who is the GOAT? The guy so good. I asked again. Who is the monarch of all the monarchs? Say if you can. The first one start to walk and whine and shake his behind like he vex. Well vexed, the other troops I was on the moon, so my question out of context. Reject. I say all fellas have no shame. They're refusing to give the GOAT his name. In my mind, as far as me eyes can see, the GOAT has to start with the letter P. So what's on your mind? Who is the greatest of all time? So I took an excursion to the Calypso Hill of Fame. That's where monarchs trade when they large and they have big name. I know goats love to live on hills, so maybe there my quest will fulfill. The Hill of Fame should make me find out the goat's real name. On the hill, I saw big Calypsonians climbing. Most of them were low, but a few was up to the top. So I offered a helping hand to a woman and a man. The woman was strong, but the fella was sitting down on a rock. Who is the GOAT? The guy so good. Who is the top ranking Calypso champion here in this land? Who is the GOAT? I asked them. The guy so good. Who is the monarch of all the monarchs? Say if you can. The fella say he's a Malawi and he ain't have nothing to say to me. The woman say
Vaval Central.
I raised my head to the Hill of Fame. I see in a goat but not a name. When I squint my eyes I could barely see. The name of the goat is the mighty P. So what's on your mind? Who is the greatest of all time? Thank you. Find out who's the greatest at finals. Good luck to all the competitors.
And we're back, Vaval Central and the Caribbean Sun. Morning, TG.
Your thoughts, Ira? On the GOAT?
On the GOAT?
Yeah.
The greatest of all time?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good song.
Who's the GOAT, you think? You're not sure who might be the GOAT. Who you think?
We are a lot of goats, eh?
Yeah, a lot of we going. But you had the GOAT effect in the song. Yeah,
Yes,
playing on the GOAT.
absolutely.
So let's see. Interesting, very interesting. Open up the season. Desrel with the one GOAT, his second song contributing. The rehearsals for the Soca Monarch semis were in full steam. They started on the weekend, and so nice. A full 2 weeks of proper rehearsals. Far good progress from the old days when it was quite a scramble. So that augurs well. Proper rehearsals for the Soca semis. We're having a few clips from the rehearsals in just a bit. Caio and the team ensuring Ian Sanchez that the rehearsals are going well with the two bands, one for Groovy, one for Power. They having the proper rehearsals, each band rehearsing 20 performers for the big semis in 2 weeks' time. As you said, the big place to be tomorrow night is the lecture. Dr. Ansia Octav is here. Ansia, tell us your lecture, the broad outline. We don't want to reveal too much here. Outline of what you're going to explore tomorrow night.
Okay, so
put out the title. The
title is Get in Your Section, Lucian Carnival and the Openness of Cultural Space. Yes. So my background is in cultural studies and theater and carnival. My degree is in carnival studies. And so it's a socio-cultural take, a sociocultural reading of the carnival, looking at meaning making, at significance, at relevance, looking at carnival in terms of its inherent nature. What are the characteristics? What are the things about the carnival, and what space does it leave for people to identify, to play themselves, or to play other in that space? So that's in broad strokes, because there are all kinds of ways you could look at the carnival. Socioeconomic, you could look at it race, you could look at it gender, but I want to look at it at the meaning into the different participants, the different kinds of players we have in the cultural space.
Right. Very broadly, as you say, we're trying not to, in fact, exhaust the discussion that is forthcoming in your lecture. The carnival in the Caribbean generally, the evolution and the growth, how have you viewed it?
Well, I mean, you have those historical, coming out of emancipation, coming out of identity formation. Then you have, of course, the Trinidad transplants. You have those who influenced or direct exports. And what you have
of Trini-style
carnival. And what you have, even the conversations in the different spaces are all about the commercialization, the commodification of culture, how it's changing the meaning of the carnival, what's being privileged, who's being given access, and how that is changing how it performs in the streets. What is it saying? Who's it for? Is it still serving that same function of allowing you to claim space and to be, to play a different aspect of yourself? Or is it all governed by corporate culture, by commodification, by the tourist dollar, in terms of what therefore it looks like? And in all the spaces you have that happening. And I mean, it's not a recent thing. It's years you have it happening in Trinidad, talking about how the traditional aspects are being edged out, the guile not getting audiences, stick fighting, traditional
forms.
But then you see an overturn in it, because even in the same Trinidad, when you have the reenactment of the Canboulay riots, one time Aintu Springer wrote an entire theater, an entire play around the emergence of carnival for Trinidad, which is situated in Canboulay. And at first it was small audiences. I remember going to Canboulay and being able to get a seat and see everything firsthand. When I went this year, I was out on the street and watching Canboulay on a screen, because the audience for it has grown so much. So even as we talk about commercialization and commodification, there's a way in which the persons in it will always make meaning out of it, and you have to allow that. You have to allow that for context. For people to make of it and to make it mean for them in the space that they're in. So with the evolution, it's always context specific. Who is in it? Who is it for? What are they using it for? What are they using it to say?
I'm really putting, for those just joining, we're speaking to Ansia Octave, our lecturer, tomorrow night at the Carnival Lecture Financial Center, 7:30. Really putting a fine challenge there, because it's, of course, expressing her thoughts without revealing too much of the lecture and replicating it. So it's a fine line for you. I well imagine the task. But one that you may not explore tomorrow night, but your thoughts important. The change of date in St. Lucia Carnival. How you've been at a distance watching it. Tell us your thoughts on it. The persons who initially were totally against, the purist traditionalists, and those who were quote unquote forward thinking and so it. Tell us your take.
I touch on it briefly because it's important to understand the meaning now. So I do touch on it. That was my focus for my undergrad actually. So in undergrad it would have been 10 years since the shift, and we hadn't written on it. We had changed the date, but we hadn't really explored how had it affected what we think Lucian Carnival is, and I'd gotten some key players, including yourself, into a seminar, to look at how meanings had shifted, what it had meant. So I know they resent being called purists, for example.
Right.
They don't like that title too much, but those for whom it was heritage, those for whom it had the cultural significance, and for those who tied it in to the Christian calendar, to that Lenten aspect of the rhythm and the ritual, of feasting. So it was tied into, and I mean, we were predominantly Catholic in those times. So it was tied into a Catholic identity. So it was very much rooted in that sense of, I have permission, sanction transgression. And then on Wednesday I can go and ask forgiveness.
Right? Your ashes.
So you had that, you had that happening. And then you had those, of course, who were saying, but it could be so much more. It could be so much more. And situating it in that space where you have the competition with others that are more rooted doesn't allow people to experience the Lucian Carnival as they should. So, yes, Carnival definitely evolved differently, and there's no way of saying what it could have been, would have been. We like to talk death. I don't believe in cultural death, by the way, but we like to talk dying and death and loss and things disappearing, right? But it would also have had meaning, right? And when I look at the carnival now, and you see the rise in the number of community carnivals, my interest now is that in response, are you seeing them going back to a more rooted, a more grassroots, a more, this is me taking the opportunity to be visible for me, as against the commercial carnival you have happening in Castries on Monday and Tuesday? Is that a response to that? In which case, you're still seeing that people refusing to let go, that this thing has to mean, this thing is an opportunity for me to display my identity, for me to be visible. And if this Monday and Tuesday isn't happening, isn't allowing me to be in that way, is that where the increase in the number of community carnivals is coming from? So that's an interesting thing that could be looked at.
And I often hear the term really advocated a lot by persons from our parts of the world, of chanting down the first world for suppressing cultural diversity, range of expressions and differences and different approaches. But some cynics would say, but we in the Caribbean are guilty of having no cultural diversity because of the sameness of what we call pretty mass panty and bra, which is so pervasive in all the carnivals. How do you respond or assess to that, the person saying that there's just too much sameness across the Caribbean diaspora?
There is that. And it happens on several levels, right? So in first instance, part of it is the media representation, and again, it goes back to commodification, to commercialization, and what sells. So what's being sold out there is very much a Port of Spain aesthetic, not a Trinidad Carnival, because Trinidad Carnival encompasses so much more. A Port of Spain aesthetic, and then it also has to do again with the context that we live in, and the body, and the liberties that we're allowed with the body. So when you see that, yes, then you have the financial aspects of it, creativity,
You
right?
mentioned the media representation.
Media representation.
To create their own narrative.
The gaze, they're curating, they're curating a certain idea of carnival. So there might be other things happening, but you don't get to see it, because what's in the popular domain, what's filling your social media space, is this single narrative around the carnival. So there is diversity. It's a challenge. I mean, when you play to that one narrative, there's only so much you could do with bikini and beads. There is very limited. When you have not been building creativity and training and design, when you've not been fostering that, when you don't have a cadre of persons who can design for carnival, who can put out new costumes, then yes, you are going to get the sameness. But I don't think it's the end. I think when you look, there are opportunities for persons to say, they're not working for me, but it depends on access. They had to have access, right? To put out something different. So when I watched and I spoke to Barry George about, what he's thinking of doing. You're seeing other ideas.
It's masquerade theme and focus.
So yes, it's sameness because it's bikini and beads, and it could all look the same. But that's what I'm talking about in the lecture as well. Creating space. Yeah. What are the spaces for other kinds of things to obtain? Yeah. But there is diversity. There is diversity.
I think one must agree, a part of your perspective. The media, for example, on St. Lucia, one of the days when the TV stations would almost routinely go to the mass camp, the creation of, even now, the big costumes for King and Queen of the bands, we seldom see stories on that. That almost mandatory visit to the Panyard to speak to the shaping of the competition tune, how it's progressing. In fairness, that has disappeared. And so when the file footage is rolled out for a TV story on Carnival, straight away it goes to the bikini, beads and bamsi,
Yeah, one of my colleagues, she was like, when you go, you had to tell them, Carnival, Lucian Carnival, the bamsi wall cannot be it. The bum wall cannot be it. It's not,
Interesting. What was your colleague saying? What was she trying to say in that?
We were talking.
It shouldn't identify us.
It shouldn't be what identifies your carnival. Yes, it's a fun thing to do, but it shouldn't be what goes out there as the definitive image of Lucian Carnival, because that will fade, and then what are you left with? Yeah. But we were more talking about ecosystem framing of carnival, which is something I don't get into the lecture. Right. Yeah, but that if you, especially when it comes to looking at it through the lens of industry, right, it's important to understand the carnival environment as an ecosystem, a carnival ecosystem, and therefore understand that what keeps it functioning is relationships, is how those relationships work, and the importance of your core, your designers, your musicians, your artists, your core, because everything else relies on them, So if you think of it as concentric circles,
right,
at the core you have those absolutely critical, irreplaceable core, the talents, the skills that make carnival happen. But then the others also happen because it's what gets that core to the audience, where they will make meaning from it, come back into the center and build it. And that symbiotic, that relationship, one feeding in and building on the other, is what keeps your carnival growing. So that's where the Bam Bam Wall came from. That you have to remember that there are core things that need to be built. That's fun. It's a fun thing to do. It's a nice image on social media. But in terms of industry, if you're really talking industry, as well as in terms of cultural studies, how are you defining your carnival?
About your carnival, remember the tenure, the tenor, the texture, the complexion of your carnival, not in literal skin, but the face of it. The topic of exclusivity, sometimes too much exclusivity, the great VIP section and the VIP in the parties and so on. The essence, the quintessence of carnival used to be, some would argue, the melting pot that we all want. For once, there's no discrimination. We've gone the other extreme full circle now, where it's almost a premium of exclusivity, getting your VIP ticket, your VIP section, but
a historian would point out to you that we're probably just going back to the beginning, right? Because when carnival first started, it was an elitist thing. On your floats and everything, it was about who could afford. Before it took over, before it was taken over by the grassroots. It was an elitist thing. Think about the carnival bands you mentioned, right. Royalites and so forth. It's a particular aesthetic. A particular financial aesthetic as well. Who has the disposable income to have been able to afford? So some will tell you that if you think of culture as being circular instead of linear, there's a way in which it's coming round to the beginning, and other things will change it again, and it will go again. But carnival is supposed to be inclusive. And we have romanticized it, but it has always had its gender, racial, class tensions.
Distinctions and differentiation. You mentioned the interesting socially how it's. I have a view on my memories of carnival, both the research, the historical, initially was almost a kind of condescending approach by the upper class. to the little natives, the little villagers, the commoners having their fun, you know. So they condescended to just take a little piece of it. And I remember there's an image. Claude Paul has just joined us, so they remembers it. I remember this early days to upstairs, the Clark's building, the Judah building. Sometimes some of the real elite sipping a glass and looking down on the revelers down in the boulevard, not really getting in it, but looking forward. And I reflect too, and I have said here on this program, I happened to be in a seat then where I had struggles and met with business owners and some people in the tourism circles who almost scoffed at the idea of making the carnival too big and serious and a serious industry option. They really said that what's up about taking carnival serious? The real papi show, we come 2 days, put on our little pajama thing, jump on this movie and go. It ought not to be too serious. So it touches well on what you're saying.
Yeah, because it's never been about 2 days of frivolity. Yeah? You've always had entrepreneurship happening from the grassroots level. Yeah, it's always had that idea of opportunities. Yeah, because even as I say, it came out with the elites. Yeah, so the stories that are written about, of course, is Trinidad with the emancipation. Yeah, but when the grassroots, when black people, took over it, right? The things about it that we want to talk about and like now is things that they brought. Yeah, there was a way in which it was made to mean in the space, right, that others recognize and see the possibilities, and now you have it. Yes, so that's a reading of it, especially in the Trinidad space, where you look at who owns the big bands and what's happening with the big bands when, for example, you buy a basic, but then for you to be in full costume, you have to shell out more and more money for pieces to make up the whole. Yeah, and it's almost like a culture grab. Yeah, to own what is happening in that space, and I mean it's just a microcosm, I guess, of wider society. Yeah,
you keep mentioning that country, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, for example. Serious discussion there, serious analysis where they're being overwhelmed. There's a popular calypso last season about that, and band leaders expressing Trinidad and Tobago have exported well the Trini style carnival, almost a template, and so they've been overwhelmed. The fetes, when they turn around, are owned by Trinidadians. The whole mass is Trini style. That Trinidad invasion, as it were, is not all myth. How real is it?
It's very real. Yeah. So this year you have it happening in Guyana as well, with them saying go back to Masharami. Yeah. Masharami is not Guyana Carnival, so now they've made a distinction. With the Guyana Carnival, which is very influenced by that. Jamaica is entirely Trinidad. Right. Jamaica doesn't have a real carnival. What they have is a street party in costume. It's very much right, and that serves a migrant population, right? It's not coming from the same place for us, right? Yeah, we have an original carnival that speaks to us, that came out of us, that said something about St. Lucianness as an identity, right? But the influence, because it's an influencer, because when you look at the migrant populations, it's not just Trinidadians in there, but it might be that it's the loudest voice, or it's the most versatile, it's the one that allows you to speak and to make different things from it. But for that migrant population, again, it's about the visibility and invisibility. You're in a space that's not your own.
And your Jamaica, where you now work and live, is an interesting phenomenon in Carnival, where it's the reverse. It's upside down, as some Jamaican friends of mine say. It's a very elitist,
it's private,
almost a kind of class symbol, that to be attached to involved in this Trini style carnival is almost a status symbol. There's very little grassroots in Jamaica Carnival.
No, there isn't, and it's one reading of it is it's a cultural response as well. So there's a way in which dance hall, it's seen as low class. Soca is not.
Seen as refined.
Soca is acceptable.
And it's very seen as refinement, and so also a way of simply boasting. You well off in Jamaica, you own some good money. You almost see that I'm connected. I go to Trini Carnival. You know what I'm saying? I pay my hotel and my things to go to Trini Carnival.
It's also a lot of foreigners. Well, non-resident, because some of them might be like here, have Lucian affiliate parents, what may have you. Yeah, but it's a lot of residents because, like I mentioned a while ago, there's a way in which it's also becoming entrepreneurship for some people. So you have, what do they call them? Carnival chasers, I think they're called, and they just jump from carnival to carnival. Yeah, a group of them, especially young people, different generation, yeah, who jump from carnival to carnival. And they're the ones, in a lot of ways, given that complexion, yeah, to what we're seeing in the media of what the carnivals currently look like.
Yeah. And there's simple factors. They're still in the realm now. You have Martinique and Dominica Carnival that remain very original, very close to their roots, very meaningful.
Guadeloupe is beautiful. It's beautiful. You know, they don't have hi-fis per se. They walk down the road chanting and playing instruments. Yeah. And the chants are specific to what's going on in society at the time, whatever it is that they're responding to. Yeah. And they're coming down in these costumes and they're claiming space unapologetically.
Massive participation.
Massive. Yeah. And they still do Tewe Vaval. Right. Yeah. Black on the Wednesday. Yeah. And saying that farewell to the flesh. Yeah.
Yeah, and as you're saying, you mentioned that Martinique and Guadeloupe also, you ask about, as you say, Claude Paul has joined us, finding your place in the space, as it were. That's part of your lecture's thrust. Just a simple fact that in the days of Calypso 10 that we're nostalgic about, that we reminisce about, a Calypso 10, Calypso semi-final was the only source of entertainment, the only show in town. I tell people, when you're doing the comparisons, be fair and check. That was the only show in town. There were no big fets, you know what I'm saying? There was no social media. There wasn't even cable TV.
I remember
to be fair to when you're comparing, it's unfair to do a stark comparison, you know?
Yeah, I remember when the fets started, it would have been Excess Energy.
Started the build-up activities.
With the fets, and then when you had, but it still remains one of my favorite memories though, when you had Soca Monarch competition on the Caribbean Soca Monarch.
That OECS Soca
I used to boast about that up in Trinidad and tell them we is really, we is the CARICOM space. Yeah, y'all call yours International Soca Monarch.
Yeah.
But in ours, anybody could win.
Yeah,
anybody could win. Yeah. And when you start the Soca Monarch, all the different islands represented straight into Juve morning. And that remains one of my favorite memories.
And understandably so, and that OECS Soca Monarch, I was lucky, happy, privileged to be part of the growth of that, the development of that, the start of that OECS Soca Monarch. And as far as public and people's involvement in Carnival, it was a massive manifestation. Powerful indeed. I keep saying the image you mentioned of 10 girls walking from Four Show, 12 of them from Pavé, the Monday Dawn, walking to Admindo Philip Park. They just, in the end, the last 2 years, we didn't advertise. There's no ad, there's no commercial. It was just so organic that people came to the biggest show. But in fairness, then, there were no big fets competing. There was no Color Me Red or no Just for Fun fet, and so it became the only show. But it really was the culmination of public participation for the season in a massive way.
It was.
My image of one of your old neighbors, Frances Henry, cutting people out of the park. Imagine Mindo Philip Park allowed no more entry. There were 12,000 persons inside.
Yeah, but it was Caribbean unity. Carnival about unity. And that's one of the core themes running through Carnival, right? And here you had this one event that brought that into visibility.
Ruston Taylor, big up yourself.
Yeah.
And Striker Paula James and our little committee developing that and in fact growing it. Ruston Taylor has a big part to play in that. We're here with Dr. Anthea Octave, who is the guest lecturer tomorrow night at the first official CPMC lecture at the Financial Center. 7:30 is totally free. There's a panel first, moderated by yours truly, but including Ember Charles, the actual panelist, Ember Charles of the Folk Research Center, well placed to speak on Carnival and growth. Dr. Damian Greaves, he was the minister, introduced the change of date of Carnival. And he really piloted the change of date, a lot to play in that. And also there is Fiona Compton, representing the young wave, the new wave approach to Carnival, explaining it, analyzing it. And contributors, they will be Giovanni Sintoma, iconic mass maker, Invader, Calypso, and indeed Paba Anthony, Father Patrick Anthony, speaking on the church's perspective and the growth of Carnival.
A quick time checker, Teddy. The time is 9 o'clock. This time check is brought to you by Ference Foods.
Yes, we stay in with Ansi Octave, and Claude Paul has joined us for a few thoughts on the season and what's happening. Rehearsals have started for semi-finals of Soca Monarch, and also the dipping in just a bit for positions in that same semis. But Ninja Dan has a very interesting, very timely take on Carnival and what it could be, what it should be, what it could have been. Ninja Dan.
I speak love, I see love, I feel love, I am love. Central. I was in love with Carnival, but then you took her away. Take her from the blazing sun, and you put her in the falling rain. Who have eyes to see will see. Carnival is not what it used to be. Jumping on the road is love and unity, and all of us was there like a family. I tell them, what is culture? What is tradition? We can do both, we don't need no division. Old, young, in exhibition. When Carnival come, we have to burn down the demon. When you see me, how you see me? Happy, 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 happy. And when we link up on the road, on the road, on the road. Happy, 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 happy. She's not for sale, she's not for sex. She's not a blue movie that has get me vexed. She's not for profit, neither commercial. Carnival is no spiritual. Carnival is not a ritual. What is culture? What is tradition? We can do both, we don't need no division. Old, young, the exhibition. When Carnival come, we have to burn down the demon. When you see me, how you see me? Happy, 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 happy. And when we link up on the road, and the road, and the road. Happy, 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 happy. Are you all at Vaval? Vaval. Are you all at Vaval? Vaval. We you don't have to be emotional. You don't have to be afraid. You don't have to be emotional. You don't have to worry. Sticks on the road, whips on the road. Happy feet, them doing tricks on the road. We on the wall. We on the wall. I speak low, I see low, I feel low, I am love.
We're back.
I were in lively discussion there on Carnival Vaval and the evolution of it.
I have a vibe to check on there.
Okay, we're going.
I have a day job, you know.
All right, Poppy. All right, Poppy.
Yeah.
We're going to. Yeah.
All right, Poppy.
Like Poppy.
Yeah.
You're running. Ready. What you have for my
Ready on Vaval.
We pay tribute to Juju already enough. You blasted this morning already.
No,
Juju.
Juju.
Her 2 victories now. She's getting stronger and stronger. Getting ready for them. The World Championships coming up at the end of summer, and she's getting ready for it. Getting stronger every time. We insist on Vaval Central. We must never take it for granted. We must always appreciate and support the growth. And also prepare too for Juju for the day when the victory won't come. That's why I tell Solutions, everybody fair weather. There'll be times when she gets beaten, the times she has to start back and fight back from injury. Yes. That's when the support really has to, our Solutions are ready. Fair weather.
So what you want, Juju from Ready or
no,
the other one? Place for them, let's go. Place for them, Ready on Vaval Central.
practice evil, invoking demons to harm people. Those who hate to speak the truth, liars with arrogance, looking at you one trippy suit, but underneath is a crook, spilling innocent blood, killing without fear of God, wicked men. Well, he has a plan for them. Tell me what place for them. It be like a fire and sulfur, they forever burning, all night and all day. Place for them, ready. What place for them? No escape from judgment and karma, their own judgment evening. No one will get away. Till I hear the murderer, he has prepared the right place for them. Imagine where Sukuyon, he has prepared the right place for them. And the broken white collar, surely they will pay a deep and on judgment day. Whoa, 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 whoa. They're burning. They're burning while they're burning. Yeah, 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 yeah. They're burning. They're burning while they're burning. So envy them on their wicked path. Not an ounce of goodness in their hearts. Day by day just they're making trouble. Well, for them the hits go be double. Child molester and rapist have memory and address. And some lawyers big business, parasite John hypocrites. To wickedness all day, all night, all they need they praying amen. Well, he has a place for them. Place for them. Tell me what place for them. In the lake of fire and sulfur, they're forever burning, all night and all day. Place for them. Tell me what place for them. No escape from judgment and karma, their own judgment evening. No one will get away. Till I in troublemaker, he has prepared the right place for them. Till rapist, child molester, he has prepared the right place for them. Throw in the greedy lawyer, surely they will pay a deep and on judgment day. Whoa, 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 whoa. They're burning. They're burning while they're burning. Love you, sis. Whoa, 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 whoa. They're burning. They're burning while they're burning.
And we're back. Teddy?
Running through the music, as I said, we're going to touch a bit in the soca music also. We want to, one of the interesting developments, Ricky T has teamed up with one of the persons defending the crowns. Of course, it's Ricky T in the power and Sly in the groovy. He's teamed up with Arthur Aleph, an interesting one, praises in this carnival. We'll get to that in just a bit, along with some more of the calypso music from people in the end, like the Senator. We also need to run through Snow, Solange, Sizzler, with two interesting ones, and the highlights from the South Calypso 10th. Divine too is outstanding from KPT. But and so as we prepare for your lecture tomorrow night, Financial Center 7:30, the origins of Carnival. St. Lucian did, my own research leaves it unclear as to the actual origins of Carnival in St. Lucian, indeed the wider Caribbean. I haven't been successful in my past research as a finite and pointed genesis of St. Lucia Carnival. It seems some guessing going on there, and largely, well, anecdotal is not always a bad thing, but that's what we have. To tell us your own findings on the origins of St. Lucia Carnival and indeed the wider Caribbean Trinidad one.
That's what it is as well. Because I haven't spent the time on the historical, right? But records say of a Ton Carnival, but you don't have a fulsome account of what used to occur. So there's
they keep saying 1948, which will be late.
1947. That can't be the beginnings of Carnival. That might be the beginnings of the structure and the style that we see now, but that can't be the beginnings of a carnival, of a St. Lucian Carnival. So throughout,
or could it be maybe we just simply a Trinidad import from Trinidad at that time? Persons who went to Trinidad got exposed and bought it here, because that appears to be the case of structured calypso here. The likes of Jackson and so going over to Trinidad and bringing it down here as far as calypso tents were concerned.
You do have some of that happening, right, in terms of the structure and style, because when one thing is powerful, there's a way in which it starts to take over the whole and becomes the image of the whole. But if you look deeper, you will always find the different parts trying to assert, I here too, and I different to what you're seeing happening on the top, right? But carnivals come out of a masquerade tradition. So I don't want to leave people thinking that I said that the carnival that we have now was an elite introduction. It wasn't. I'm saying that under colonialism, those were the ones with power, those were the ones with access, those were the ones who owned space. But once emancipation happened, there was a way in which now the other voices, the less affluent, the grassroots, could come out and claim space. And what they were drawing from is an ancestral African masquerade tradition. So the carnivals in the Caribbean came out of masquerade traditions. So when you look at what constitutes traditional masks throughout the region, when they go to the traditional characters, what you see coming out is African heritage. Things that the enslaved were able to carry with them, even if they couldn't carry any items, carried with them in their body. So you see embodiment coming out. So it's a masquerade tradition. So it's a couple things that point to
protest.
It's masquerade. So it's the context of colonialism and slavery, the Europeans and the Africans and the other voices meeting here, and as with all things Caribbean, finding a way to turn this thing into something uniquely Caribbean. And because we have a masquerade tradition that speaks to a particular identity, we know that carnival could not have started in 1940 something.
Because a lot of emancipation and would have happened long before.
What were the enslaved? What were the enslaved doing? What was their way of celebrating, of coming out there and using cultural performance? It can't have started in 1947. The structure we have now, we can trace that to there. But our masquerade, our cultural practices, would suggest that there was a different kind of mask, a different kind of masquerade. Trinidad may have given us the word carnival for all we know, but carnival comes out of a masquerade. And St. Lucia has a masquerade that predated Trinidad Carnival.
And so you confirming your feeling that the protest was part of it? The protest mocking the masters, making fun of the masters in a veiled, disguised way?
Always. It had to be part of it. Because again, it's what you're trying to say. You don't have liberties, you don't have voice, you don't have access. But for that space of time, things are forgiven. There's theorists have talked about it as inversion. Yes, for that space of time, the grassroots is the one on top. For that space of time, you could say things, you could do things, you could be things that in the everyday was not just allowed. So there is a way, and we understand African people. We know look at our Creole and how we use the cover of Creole to really say something, but the same words we're using could mean something else.
That's right.
Yeah, that double meaning and that hidden meaning. Yes, so those things, that protest, that sense of resistance to not being marginalized. Yeah, masquerade is that.
We're hearing it from Dr. Ansia Octave, who will be the guest lecturer tomorrow. Every reason to be there tomorrow night from 7:30 over at the Financial Center. Thank you, Doc. And we will be there tomorrow night to, in fact, support and take in a lot more of your perspective. As you said, you didn't go into the total content. You couldn't. And so tomorrow night promises to be very, very interesting. We're going...
Somebody's asking, are you guys... you'll be streaming will be live stream.
I haven't heard so. They're trying to encourage people to come out, maybe replay afterwards.
Somebody in the diaspora.
Yeah. But you remember diaspora, we were giving them some peacock last week, that they're not supporting the people viewing the tents, the people viewing the 10 US. Who's that person? Tell them to tell all the other diaspora colleagues to support the culture. They're getting some peacock on the ground for not supporting all the clamor for wanting more, wanting content. 10 US is as cheap as attending the tent here. And so we're asking the persons who own the TV, the project, to be more aggressive in their marketing, of course. In fairness, I don't find them marketing aggressively, but also the awareness is there of the WeTV.online to go and support and show your support, getting past the lip service, as we said last week. Arthur and Ricky T. Ricky T is competing in the Groovy this year with this one, where he teams up with Arthur Allen.
Let me mash it up again. Let me do this one more time. Feel like I can mash it up again. Yeah. I could do this one more time. Yeah. Give praises, yeah, for all the positives, even the negatives. Give praises, yeah, for all the memories, even discrepancies. Give praises, yeah.
GT Arthur Arley on Vaval Central. Prezi steady.
You're wrapping up, as you said. We're building up to TOT Soca Village, the quarterfinal Wednesday night at the Cultural Center is an important one, the final quarterfinal. The results will be announced 2 days later on a Friday morning on Primetime Media, 8 o'clock in the morning. And also, we are reminding all that the rehearsals have started for the Power and Groovy semis. The two bands well in progress rehearsing. The dipping is in just a bit later this morning at the CDF Cultural Foundation over at Barnard Hill. And of course, the lecture we mentioned tomorrow night from 7:30 Financial Center. We also giving kudos to Grocery, who had a very strong, very impressive opening over at the Grocery Friday night street party, showing progress, constant progress. They still have quite a way to go in the carnival, but showing that they're on the right path, trying to improve the community, and that's the beauty of it, the community embracing and doing their carnival and improving. Hats off to the bands who displayed, and also to the organizers and the artists who came through to support the effort, the likes of Nerdy, Ezra, Monster, Keisha, and others. Speaking of our carnival and the growth of our carnival, Sly, the defending Groovy Monarch, has his interesting take on the carnival.
Can't believe it.
Let's start this. Some man turn up the line array. It don't matter time of day. Can't stop, we can't even know it. We my people happy day. Bim bim. Islands bring rhythm. Yeah. It's Sly again. Vibes. We full of vibes again.
Morning Vaval Central.
I hear they say we exaggerate. The carnival numbers not accurate. Cause them can't believe it. Oh gosh, them can't believe it. How the road get shut down after 6, but all after 9 revelers on the streets. Them can't believe it. Them can't believe it. People outside from the sun come up, but when the night fall they don't want to stop. But them can't believe it. Oh gosh, them can't believe it. So I tell these guys stop spreading lies. They know we can't even full of vibes, and them can't believe it. Them can't believe it. But they go believe me when we touch the stage and people raising the flags. Higher, higher, higher. Yes, they go believe me when we see how the whole stadium get on bad fire. We get it on bad. So tell them say we unstoppable. This carnival we outside. Tell them we cause big trouble. Be a madness in it. Tell them say we unstoppable. We carnival phenomenal, phenomenal. So tell them say we unstoppable. This carnival we outside. Tell them we cause big trouble. Be a madness in it. Tell them say we unstoppable. We carnival phenomenal, phenomenal. Told them they don't know fet at all till them fet St. Lucian carnival. And them can't believe it. Oh gosh, them can't believe it. We bring the rhythm, the vibes and the alcohol. Girls whining down on the bamba wall. And them can't believe it. Them can't believe it. It's fet after fet, we just smash up place. We outside, we sleep for days. And them can't believe it. Oh gosh, them can't believe it. All the vibes we bring them can't contend. We have energy more than them, and them can't believe it. They can't believe it. But they go believe it when we touch the stage and people raising the flags. Higher, higher, higher. Yes, they go believe it when we see how the whole stadium get on bad fire. We get it on bad. So tell them say we unstoppable.
can't believe it's Sly on Vaval Central, Teddy.
I can't believe the time gone already.
Why?
Discussion, and so we can't believe it's almost 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
We just start, eh?
Yeah, man. It was good seeing neighbor. It's been a while. Yes, man, I see neighbor.
Yes, Auntie Octave. And she have artistic arts and culture credit. You know, she's an actor, she's a, producer, she just come, huh? Or just she only know the series, eh?
Nope.
She been on stage.
Like 30 years, I see.
Yeah.
Neighbor, no, not so many.
Not so many. Only 20. Only
20.
20. Don't age me so bad. 20.
Well, I aged me too.
Yeah, as you say, continuing the Carnival Export St. Lucia, the big media launch in a while for the runway over the NTN studios that too happening. We're going out, as you said, about sustaining the Carnival, keeping the generations. The young generation, we're giving the last slot today to a young artist who's come through confident, brave indeed, and in fact making it to the semis this time around.
M&R, no sweeter.
Little boy.
Yeah, Teddy?
Yeah, just tell them we out tomorrow, 8 o'clock. We here on Vaval Central, and in the evening, tomorrow evening, we over at the Financial Center for the Carnival Lecture.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Auntie.
Thank you.